What's up everybody, it's La Muerte Blanca and we are back with another Explained video where we speedrun the retelling of complicated game stories with plenty of jokes along the way. This time we're discussing Kurohyou. How do you say this again? What? No one knows? Well, if you're one of those that can't spare the 20 hours to play this yakuza spin-off, don't worry, I got you. Back in Kamurocho, we are Ukiyo Tatsuya. It's ironic Kurohyou means Black Panther because his barber hit him up with that clawed-ass haircut. He's a punk-ass street thug that beats up his homie Tenma for basically no reason. RGG is really not wasting any time before the fight start with this one. Because he's an asshole decking the shit out of everyone, they leave him to do the job on his own. Tatsuya is pretending to be a Tojo clan member so he can extort loan sharks for money. Unfortunately for him, he's trying to extort Toda, a higher up in the Tojo's Kuki family. The Tojo try to beat that ass for being a poser, but main characters have plot armor, so this 17-year-old whips on 4 yakuza with weapons. Even more, Tatsuya's sadistic ass eviscerates Toda with a roundhouse that would impress Chuck Norris. Oh shit, is he dead? Naturally freaked out, Tatsuya dips and tells his sister he's leaving for a while, but before he can, catches 50,000 volts. He was kidnapped by Kuki, head of the Kuki family. He's upset Tatsuya killed this guy and he has the evidence to send him to jail. However, like any good businessman, Kuki has an offer. Kamurocho is no short of underground fighting rings and Kuki wants Tatsuya to fight in his, Dragon Heat. But really though, Kuki messed up because he broke rule number 1.
You do not talk about Fight Club.
Tatsuya meets Saki and Taizan, the Dragon Heat trainers. They give him the info on his opponent, and Tatsuya decides to fight since that's better than running from the Tojo and the police at the same time. Tatsuya drops fake Balrog, the crowd loses their shit, and Kuki's over here like,
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
He says he'll forget about Toda's murder if Tatsuya can win 10 matches in a row. If Tatsuya refuses, Kuki will give the evidence to the police. Tatsuya runs into Hyuga with his Terry Bogard cosplay and his arm candy Eureka. Hyuga is the star of Dragon Heat and even has a sponsor with Masatoshi. Everyone says Tatsuya is no match for Hyuga, which is too bad because Kuki says that's his next fight. Like most fights in Japanese media, they stop to chat midway through. Hyuga spouting some bullshit about his way of fighting while Tatsuya's like, shut up, bitch! Bop, bop, bop. Boom! Catch these hands, fool. But strangely enough, after getting his ass beat, Hyuga's smiling? After the fight, Taizan tries to teach Tatsuya about a fighter's philosophy and what separates good fighters from people like, well, him. Because of Hyuga's philosophy, he's smiling because he was satisfied with the fight. You know, character development and all that. Later, Tatsuya learns his parole officer, Takanaka, is looking for him. He's naturally worried because, you know, committing murder and joining an illegal fighting ring run by an organized crime lord is typically frowned upon when you're on parole. While dodging Takanaka, Tatsuya runs into his old teacher, Yuki. This guy snitched on Tatsuya for extorting other students, rightfully so because that's an asshole move. However, Tatsuya didn't think so and beat him up too. Damn! His own teacher? A year later, Tatsuya gets arrested by Takanaka because he seriously injured another student in a fight. Tatsuya got assault charges because of his prior record. Tatsuya gets his next fight, and wouldn't you know, it's Yuki, who also happens to be a master of karate and aikido. He's pissed and has one last lesson he's trying to teach his old student. After losing the fight, Yuki teaches Tatsuya a lesson in endurance by punching him in the face. The character development goes a lot deeper, but this is an overview, not an iceberg. You're gonna have to go somewhere else for that. Taizan imparts more words of wisdom as Tatsuya begins to form his fighter philosophy. Meanwhile, Takanaka meets up with his old pupil, Washio. Takanaka got a tip Toda went missing, and the two discuss its connection to an arson 15 years ago. Washio never found the culprit, and the statute of limitations is almost up. For those of you without a law degree, this means they can't bring legal action for things past the statute's limit. That night, Tatsuya's at Eureka's club. The thoughts simping, but shout out to my mans for not falling into thirst traps. Eureka mentions Takanaka was asking about Toda, so Tatsuya tries to dip, but Takanaka is waiting for him outside. Tatsuya somehow manages to evade a cop car on foot until he jumps into a taxi that has a driver who thinks he's Vin Diesel from Fast and the Furious. Once we accept the fact that a taxi lost a cop car in a high-speed chase, we then have to accept that by pure coincidence, the driver is the father of Fujimoto, the kid Tatsuya beat up before getting arrested. The father is all butthurt because Tatsuya sent his kid to the hospital and naturally wants revenge. Tatsuya manages to get away, but why is Tenma talking to Takanaka? Is he really selling out Tatsuya? I mean, He did deck the homie in the first minute of the game, so coincidentally or not, Taxi Driver is the next Dragon Heat opponent. Not like that means anything though, because he too gets his face beaten by a 17-year-old. Post-fight conversation brings more revelations that add to Tatsuya's character development, which also prompts Tatsuya to reflect on his past. He had no real parents or money growing up, just his sister. He really only relied on himself and his own strength. Over time, this caused him to be the asshole that he was in the beginning of the game. Character development comes to an abrupt stop when no way. Is that Toda? He's alive? But there's no time to make sure because Takanaka's coming. Tatsuya has nowhere to go until Tenma rolls up to save him? I thought he sold out. Tatsuya is still convinced Tenma's a sellout, so his loner ass leaves him like, we were never friends. But Tenma notices Tatsuya's foot injury before leaving. Tatsuya rolls up on Kuki like, I saw Toda, what the hell's going on? But Kuki retorts with, show me proof. You got receipts? No? Shut your fucking mouth. I own you. He then changes the subject to Tatsuya's next opponent, some guy called the Mad Dog, but he's clearly not as cool as Majima. He doesn't even have an eye patch. Tatsuya is later approached by Nyoka, an Awano knockoff from the rival Toja family. He says 10 wins in a row is impossible. Tatsuya doesn't understand, so Nyoka sends him to everyone's favorite information broker to get more information. The florist explains 6 years ago a boxer named Nogi won 9 fights in a row, but the arena has completely changed since then. A trader within the Tojo has been tipping off the police and profits are declining across the board. However, Dragon Heat continues to flourish with increased betting. Complaints about this shifted the profit structure over time. Kuki still controls the arena, but each fighter represents one of the Tojo families now. The family whose fighter wins gets the betting profits for that night. This whole time, Tatsuya has been Kuki's representative, and as Tatsuya continues to win, the other families will only continue to throw tougher and tougher opponents at him to prevent Kuki from winning all the money all the time. On his way out, Tatsuya sees Tenma again, and this time he's talking to the Nyoka goons? This dude really is a sellout! Why is he telling them about Tatsuya's injured foot? Tatsuya's 5th fight is starting and Jack from Tekken is ready to go, but when he attacks the injured foot, he hit the wrong one? Thwap! Tatsuya says smell these feet and knocks dude out cold. Hold up, did Tenma lie to Nyoka? Tatsuya rushes over to find Tenma getting beat like a piñata, bashes all the goons' faces in, and learns Tenma really is the homie because he never snitched. Taizan takes a look at Tenma, says he'll be fine, and of course uses the opportunity to impart more wisdom. We quickly switch to a suspicious phone call. The incident from 15 years ago is mentioned, and he says he has the data. The data! No idea what he's talking about, but we do know he has the data! Oh shit, is that Toda? He's alive? Not anymore. The next day, Tatsuya tells Tenma everything that's going on, and Tenma says Takanaka asked him about Toda. Speaking of, Toda's body was found in the mountains. What? Tatsuya immediately confronts Kuki, but he's just chilling. Tatsuya is upset because he thinks Kuki killed Toda in order to set him up. With nowhere else to go, Tatsuya hits up the florist again to beg for more info. He wants to know who killed Toda. It could be that easy, but Tatsuya can't afford that kind of information, and RGG needs to fill another 5 chapters. So instead, the florist sends him to Chiaki, an undercover reporter posing as a hostess. Chiaki heard a rumor about the Yakuza trader, but it's a red herring, and I don't want to confuse you any more than you probably already are, so we're not going to get too deep into that. Meanwhile, Nyoka and Hyuga's sponsor Masatoshi are colluding a way to beat Tatsuya. They decide to give Hyuga a rematch as he is a renewed feral bloodlust. But plot armor is stronger than your strength build as Hyuga gets his ass beat down anyway. Turns out Hyuga was deranged because he received a letter saying his sister would be killed if he didn't beat Tatsuya. The whole thing reeks of collusion as Nyoka and the sponsor remain desperate to stop Tatsuya. Later, Kuki's on the phone with Washio, the cop? If Tatsuya gets 10 wins in a row, Washio is supposed to fulfill some kind of promise. Then Shady Man walks in, drops a bracelet, and oh shit, Kuki got fucked up. Shady Man escapes when help arrives but drops a handkerchief in the commotion. Nyoka tells Tatsuya Kuki's in critical condition, and you can tell Tatsuya didn't do it because he has that shocked Easter Island head-ass face. Nyoka says he's taking over Dragon Heat, and Tatsuya's next opponent is Cho. Not sure why all these fighters look like large cats did their fates. Cho's deranged like, you are the guy I must beat, I will beat you! And now I'm questioning if he's still talking about fighting. Pretty sure Tatsuya is too at this point. To make things worse, the Kuki family thinks that Tatsuya attacked Kuki because they found his bracelet. What? Someone is framing him for assault too? The handkerchief isn't Tatsuya's, but these idiots don't care and attack a Dragon Heat fighter who's on a 6-win streak. You can guess how that one ends. As he looks for a lead, Tatsuya finds Takanaka with Cho. He confronts Cho about it, but like any good RGG game, he's not talking until Tatsuya beats it out of him. Fast forward to Dragon Heat fight. He does. After the great sage Taizan imparts more wisdom, Tatsuya confronts Cho. Cho is so deranged because Nyoka promised to reveal his mother's killer if he won, but that was a lie. Takanaka was meeting with Cho to offer his condolences for his mother who was killed in an arson 15 years ago. Rumor is the Tojo clan was working on a redevelopment project and buying all the property, but the owner of one restaurant was giving them the big fuck you. And when you can't get what you want, logic dictates you set it on fire. The arson killed the owners, Cho's mom, and a part-time waitress. By now we know Kamurocho police are completely inept and the culprit was never found. Takanaka was part of the investigation and continues to pursue the case even as the statute of limitations approaches. This could be why he's pursuing Toda. As Cho leaves, the two are now friends because that's what you do after you punch someone's face in and share Kiryu-style inspirational speeches. Tatsuya concludes that Toda's murder and Kuki's assault have to be related to this incident. Someone must be covering their tracks since the statute of limitations is almost up. The only way he's getting more information is to ask Takanaka directly. The homie Tenma gives him a phone and Takanaka says the police have already marked Tatsuya as Toda's killer. Huh? Takanaka is after Toda because he threatened the owner prior to the arson 15 years ago. Takanaka tells Tatsuya to chill because he's on parole, but our man fires back like, what are they gonna do? Arrest me? I mean, the cops do want him for murder, so... Tatsuya learns from locals the owners that died had a daughter and the waitress had a husband and a baby. Rumor is the husband became a yakuza after the incident, possibly to find the culprit. Tatsuya then gets a call from Kuki? He wants to meet but is in hiding, so Tatsuya does some Indiana Jones secret wall stuff and finds Kuki on the verge of death. Before he dies, Kuki drops some serious knowledge. Kuki doesn't know who attacked him, but admits he set Tatsuya up. I know, we already knew that. But Kuki confirms that Tatsuya didn't kill Toda. I mean, we kind of knew that too. Because of Dragon Heat's success, the Tojo assumed Kuki to be the traitor, and if he wanted to clear his name, he had to find the real traitor. But Kuki did have a police connection with Washio. Again, already knew this. Reluctant to out his source, Washio made his old friend a deal. He'd give up the traitor if one of Kuki's fighters won 10 fights in a row. That's why Kuki set up Tatsuya? Kuki was desperate for a fighter and came up with the idea to set Tatsuya up when he saw him beat down Toda. Since death makes a man sentimental, Kuki erased his evidence and said Tatsuya was a free man, but has a final request. He wants Tatsuya to do the impossible and win 10 fights in a row. Tatsuya could easily say no and walk away, but character development also makes a man sentimental, so he agrees to fulfill Kuki's final wish. Kuki passes his deal with Washio on to Tatsuya and explains he also doesn't know how Toda's body was found. He was just playing it cool when Tatsuya came at him. Suddenly, Kuki goes Steve from Blue's Clues on us when he finds Tatsuya has to find Toda's microcard. He recorded everything and something useful has to be there. Remember before Toda died? The data! Just as Kuki starts to say where the microcard is, probably the most important piece of information in this whole conversation, he decides to die. God damn it. Tatsuya commits to search for the traitor but gets interrupted by another 50,000 volts. Man's really catching more stuns than Alan from The Hangover. Tatsuya wakes up and Tenma's there? Nah. The homie really is a sellout this time. They want to know where the data is and start swinging. Thankfully, Cho's gang rolls up to save them. Tatsuya shares his information with Takanaka, hoping he can find the location of the data, and goes off to fight a mercenary handpicked by Washio. He really does not want to give up his snitch. But that doesn't matter because Tatsuya drops a combat-hardened merc, but just barely this time. Suddenly, Tenma pulls up extremely apologetic. Completely battered, Tatsuya hears him out when he says his family was in a very desperate situation. Some guy offered to help if Tenma gave Tatsuya a GPS-tracked phone, and that's how they found him after his meeting with Kuki. Tatsuya forgives the homie since he's come a long way from beating Tenma for no reason. Wise mentor Taizan shares another lesson, and Tatsuya's phone rings. Cho got the name of the traitor? His name is Nogi Toru. Wait, that Nogi? The one that won 9 fights in a row? Did Nogi really join the Tojo to avenge his wife? Is he really the traitor? If you've seen any of my other RGG videos, you know bad guys love the Millennium Tower. So here we see a bad guy on top of it talking to another mysterious bad guy. Blue guy's worried about Toda's data getting out. If it does, they're both screwed. The Millennium Tower guy says, chill, he'll take care of Takanaka. Then we see his face. Oh, it's Japanese Ron Jeremy? With 2 fights left, Nyoka's throwing all he has at Tatsuya's next fight. Our little streak thug is growing up and now gets to take on Japan's middleweight world champion. Determined to find Toda's killer before the fight, Tatsuya meets with Takanaka, who can no longer help. What? Takanaka's superior is transferring him to another station. Sus considering they're closing in on the culprit. Extra sus since his superior was head of the division 15 years ago. Super extra sus that the police have already determined Tatsuya is guilty. And super duper extra sus that this superior is the bad guy that was chilling on Millennium Tower.
Collusion!
Takanaka's all like, you really didn't kill him, right? To which Tatsuya explains, I mean, I attacked the office and beat the shit out of Toda, but I didn't kill him. Fair enough, I guess. Tatsuya breaks into Toda's restaurant, finds a picture of a girl that looks like a hostess, sees if Eureka knows anything, and she points into a club where he might find her. Of course, it's at Millennium Tower. He gets there, and right when this case is about to turn, Nyoka rolls up. Don't forget about your fight. So Tatsuya runs all the way back to Dragon Heat, and the middleweight champion gets bullied by a 17-year-old. Blah blah, more character development, and then the champ says something interesting. He only lost one other fight. To Nogi. No. Then loses it when he sees him. No! Taizan is Nogi? Our sage and mentor has been the traitor this whole time. Taizan offers Tatsuya a fight. If Tatsuya wins, Taizan will spill everything. If Taizan wins, Tatsuya has to keep his mouth shut about the whole traitor thing. Meanwhile, corrupt as fuck police supervisor is telling Washio to bring Tatsuya in and chill with the arson investigation. But Washio knows man's suspect as hell. He dips, saying he is not done until the statute is up. The supervisor then makes another suspicious phone call. Finally, the 10th fight. Both fighters have won 9 in a row, and Tatsuya's freedom is on the line. Nogi is a Dragon Heat legend, a master of several martial arts. The main reason Tatsuya is as strong as he is, and he too gets dropped by a 17-year-old. Tatsuya is about to light Taizan up again until his sister stops him. Why is she here? Wait, she knows Nogi? How? Sister drops the biggest bomb of this whole game when she's all like, this man is your father. Say what? Nogi was aiming to become a boxing champion and was obsessed with training. To help make ends meet, his wife, Tatsuya's mother, took up a part-time job and died in the arson when Tatsuya was only 2. Also, Tatsuya's sister, not his sister. She was the daughter of the restaurant owners and was brought into Tatsuya's family after they died. In order to find information and avenge his wife, Nogi changed his name and became a trainer at Dragon Heat. As time went on, he started to lose hope. He knew Takanaka was investigating the case and made a deal with him to serve as a police spy, aka the traitor. But Taizan, Nogi, whatever you want to call him, didn't kill Toda or Kuki. So why did Taizan help Tatsuya if he knew he'd be outed in 10 fights? Because that's his son, as Nogi has a heartfelt daddy moment. Meanwhile, on the verge of cracking the case wide open, no. Washio gets shanked by fake Daigo, and a good cop dies in the streets he vowed to protect. Damn. Nyoka overhears Nogi's the traitor and makes Tatsuya pick a side. If he doesn't help Nyoka, they'll send his bracelet and other evidence to the police. But Tatsuya's all like, nah fam, I've gone through way too much character development to let you rattle me. Then some yakuza thugs try to fight the 2 greatest fighters Dragon Heat has ever seen. I won't spoil how that fight ends. During all this, Takanaka talks to the hostess Tatsuya was looking for and learns the data card is also at Millennium Tower. Really though, if any future RGG game has a super important scavenger hunt gimmick, check Millennium Tower first. On the way there, Nogi says Toda's cause of death was a small skull fracture likely caused by a toe kick, a very specific technique that Nogi once saw from a cheap fighter named Masa. They get to the spot, try to call Takanaka, but oh no, he was attacked too? Tatsuya finally finds the microcard and the recording is Toda talking with Masatoshi? Hold up, Hyuga's sponsor? Toda was the one that committed the arson, but Nogi never found any evidence because he did it before joining the Tojo clan. Masatoshi was the mastermind behind it all. Speaking of, here he is, to steal the microcard, but wait, he's also Masa? Did he kill Toda and Kuki? Not quite, he's too old, but he did teach his technique to fake Daigo. Like your typical RGG bad guy, he's doing all of this for money or whatever false sense of power he can make up. During the bad guy monologue, he's impressed by Tatsuya's fighting and offers him a job. But Tatsuya says everything he needs to when he does the Yakuza trademark shirt ripoff.
It's about to go down.
Tatsuya throws the microcard in the air, eats a bottle at Daigo's gun, blows their exchange, but Tatsuya ends up with the microcard and the gun. Nogi takes the gun ready to end it right there, but Tatsuya's like, nah pops, my character is too developed right now. We need a proper fight. Where do final boss battles happen in RGG games? That's right, the top of Millennium Tower. Tatsuya throws the microcard at the bad guys, keeps the gun, and says whoever wins gets both. If he loses, Masatoshi can shoot him and his dad. Nogi's naturally in shock like, Nani? did not sign up for this shit. Don't worry, Pops. My character development is so profound I can seriously talk about destiny and fate without my shirt. I can't lose because I fight for more than myself now. He asks his father and mentor for any final advice, but all he gets is a good luck, have fun. The wise sage coming in clutch once again. Masatoshi's boy does the yakuza shirt thing too, shows off the ice in his veins, but gets that ass beat anyway. Fashionably, like all Kamurocho cops, Takanaka rolls up. Saki sent him the data and they have enough evidence to arrest Masatoshi. In a fit of rage, Masatoshi goes after Saki, Tatsuya heads after him. The dude that just got his ass beat has enough energy to do the murder toe kick move, but Nogi is just fast enough to absorb the blow and save his son. Masatoshi and his guy are arrested, but Nogi's looking all kinds of fucked up right now. Nogi and Tatsuya have a touching father-son moment as Nogi imparts his final words of wisdom and passes away in Tatsuya's arms. Damn. Later, everyone conveniently forgot Tatsuya beat up Toda. Murder Man confesses to assaulting Toda, Kuki, Washio, and Takanaka. Takanaka is investigating who ordered Washio's murder, but it's obvious the police supervisor did it. And after the credits roll, the handkerchief found at Kuki's attack belonged to him too? Oh man, I'm so surprised. That's crazy. And that's Kurohyou. And that's Black Panther. Yet another game in the franchise that uses beating people up as a means of personal growth. Honestly, it's heartwarming. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, or don't. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what other games do you all want to see. We've already done a ton of other explain videos, so make sure you check those out as well. I'm La Muerte Blanca, and I'll catch you guys next time.